change your mind, if you change your mind.
I really felt like that this episode demonstrates of how much Pink Diamond is a selfish Leto and thinking about herself, but after getting the knowledge from the other characters, mainly Yellow and Blue Diamond and their struggles despite being genocidals, this episode really made me feel like Pink Diamond can't be able to think clearly, all the while being in the position where she can't be able to get what she wants. And believe me, even though that I didn't watch The Jungle Moon and A Single Pair of Rose for this binge watch, I still watch my review of A Single Pair of Rose, and even though I told you guys to watch that review before heading into this video, for me personally, I really felt like that a lot can instantly change on a dime when it comes to this episode being the sequel towards A Single Pair of Rose. After Paul told the story to Garnet and Amethyst, Garnet unfused, with Sapphire being extremely upset that Rose lied about everything and she was the one that caused all the chaos in the first place. Believe me when I say this, is that this episode demonstrates of Rose just trying to enjoy life on Earth, and yet at the same time she can't be able to think clearly due to the responsibilities of running a colony. And with Paula expressing more of her past with Rose/Pink Diamond to Sapphire, I'm gonna be truthfully real with you that every time I look at Pink Diamond/Rose in this, it sums up a lot that her ability to think about the problems that she has, all the while that she has to deal with basically no consequences after she got shadowed. I really feel like that she was probably in turmoil or emotional turmoil for what she's doing with when it comes to being a leader as a diamond, all the while pretending to be like the other amethysts while disguising as rose quartz. And yet at the same time, I do not defend her when it comes to how she was portrayed completely, because for everything of what Steven and the other characters went throughout the last 5 seasons, it sums up a lot of how this chaos is really reckoning every single character, especially Sapphire, and when it comes to Ruby, that ends up happening in the following episodes. I was starting to be aware about the Pink Diamond and Rose Quartz twist, so when I got to this episode for the first time 4 years ago, it really sums up a lot that they are trying to hammer it in on the fact that this whole Rose was Pink Diamond twist as a huge secret, but at the same time, I was like everyone else who found the twist completely stupid, and right now, I actually understand onto why they made this twist in the first place after 4 years. Even though that there are all potential ideals when it comes to having Rose Quartz as her own character, while Pink Diamond being her own character and Rose shadowing Pink Diamond is justified and more understandable. But believe me, whenever I think of Pink Diamond in this scenario when it comes to her relationship with Paul, to tell you the truth, she really doesn't have much to cooperate when it comes to the other diamonds, mainly Blue and Lelo. And since that Blue and Lelo, despite being a bit too strict towards Pink Diamond, they're still more professional when it comes to running a colony, all the while being more intimidating. And even though that Pink Diamond is intimidating when it comes to how she put all the blame on Steven, which at the same time she turned into Steven while as Rose Quartz in order to eliminate all the consequences of herself, I can't deny that Paul's feelings towards Rose have grown when it comes to the episode's direction, because every time I listen to critiques when it comes to people discussing about how unhealthy this relationship is, the more I look into it and how this episode aged better after 6 years, it made me think that, well, that Paul just really wants to be with someone, and she changed as a Paul in comparison to the other Pauls in this show, mainly Lilo and Blue Pauls. This is possibly the best development that we've seen from Paul when it comes to how she's written in this episode. Her describing her past with Rose, all the while Rose is the reason why Sapphire and Ruby fused together, even though the fusion happened before. Mainly the fact that Paul wanted to fuse with Rose Quartz, and that ended up happening in Season 2. I really feel like that this episode's connection towards previous events, all the while having the separation of Sapphire and Ruby, is done perfectly. I really feel like that even though that I gave A Single Pair of Rose a 7 out of 10, it's mainly the fact that I feel that the episode itself was a lot more complicated, and it took time for me to understand the true meaning of it. Even though that I'm not going to revise my rating towards A Single Pair of Rose, I just really feel like that for how everyone has been talking about that episode for so long, I really feel like that people probably went into this episode and still thought about A Single Pair of Rose and not appreciating the qualities of the episode that we've seen involving Paul's past with Rose and the separation of Ruby and Sapphire. For me personally, Pink Diamond, despite being a terrible character, is incredibly Two-Face. And when I mean incredibly Two-Face, it's mainly the fact that herself as Pink Diamond is downright spoiled, while the other half, she's just basically like the other gems, but at the same time, she's a diamond. And judging of how that whole development later on, when it comes to how Steven needs to handle everything by himself, sums up a lot that despite Steven being his own person, at the end of the day, he still has his mom and Pink Diamond inside of him, with them having the same gem or slash diamond, or how you pronounce it when it comes to gem and diamond. This sums up a lot of how the show has changed when it comes to this direction as years gone past, but at the same time, I haven't gotten to how rushed everything got, and believe me, once we get to those episodes, that's probably where the show falls a little bit, but at the same time, not far from grace. I'm giving this episode an 8.5 out of 10, and let's get into the wedding portion of the season.